Just outside Salt Lake City, tucked into the rugged Utah landscape, sits the Nutty Putty Cave system. It's a naturally formed hydrothermal cave that attracted thousands of explorers, but it was also strictly regulated. Those regulations were born from the extreme physical constraints of the environment. The cave's pathways were notoriously narrow, with an entry threshold restricted to cavers with chest and waist profiles under 30 inches. On November 24, 2009, 26-year-old John Jones entered the system with his brother and friends. Their objective was a notoriously tight section of the cave known as the birth canal. But deep underground, John made a critical navigational error, bypassing the birth canal to crawl into an unmapped, nearly impassable offshoot called the corkscrew. Assuming the passage would eventually widen, John pushed forward over a steep rock lip and slid headfirst into a 10 by 18-inch crevice. He was completely upside down, his arms pinned by the sheer pressure of the stone walls. When his brother Josh found him, he could only see John's feet. Josh attempted to pull him backward by the legs, but the force caused John to slide off the internal ledge, wedging his torso even deeper into the void. The cave's geometry had created a one-way spatial funnel. It allowed for easy forward entry, but physically blocked any attempt at a backward extraction. Rescuers faced an immediate spatial nightmare. John was trapped 700 feet deep in a passage so restrictive that only one person could reach him at a time. First responder Susie Matola spent 2 hours in the cramped space trying to create clearance. She eventually had to cut away John's jeans just to gain a few extra millimeters of movement. As the hours passed, an on-site doctor identified a crisis beyond the rock walls. Human anatomy is not designed for prolonged inverted suspension. In this inverted position, John's heart pumped 80% of his blood uphill, fighting a constant mechanical battle against gravity. The medical prognosis was precise. Under this strain, he had a maximum of 10 hours before organ failure. The rescue mission now faced 2 simultaneous barriers: the solid rock of the cave and a biological countdown driven by the absolute laws of physics. To overcome these barriers, the surface team formulated a plan to use a multi-point mechanical rope and pulley system to hoist John backward out of the crevice. This required drilling load-bearing anchors directly into the cave walls, a difficult task given the irregular and brittle nature of the stone. This schematic outlines the precise zigzag geometry required to avoid shearing ropes or breaking John's legs. 19 hours in, the system generated enough force to pull John upward, bringing him high enough to make eye contact with a rescuer. But at the moment of highest tension, the system reached a breaking point. The extreme mechanical load caused the brittle rock holding a primary pulley anchor to shatter. The tension vanished instantly. The anchor blowout caused the entire system to collapse, dropping John back into the original crevice. The extraction failed because the cave's geology could not withstand the physical forces required to move a human body against such a severe mechanical disadvantage. Following the failure, the team explored drilling away the surrounding rock. However, the process was deemed too dangerous for the rescuers and too slow to save John. Despite the initial 10-hour biological estimate, John's physical fitness allowed his heart to endure the inverted suspension for 27 hours. But the physiological strain was ultimately too much. Late on the night of November 25th, John became unresponsive and was pronounced deceased. The next day, authorities realized that extracting John's body presented the same impossible physical and mechanical obstacles as the rescue itself. To prevent further tragedy, officials decided to leave John in place and permanently seal the entrance to Nutty Putty Cave with concrete. The event remains a stark record of human endurance and a reminder that we are ultimately bound by the limits of biology and the absolute laws of physics.